Hello students, I am Sanjana Kavatagi, Assistant Professor, Department of Computer Science and Engineering, AITM, Belgavi. In this video, we shall study about exceptions. In the previous videos, we have studied about interrupts and various other concepts related to interrupts. Okay, so basically, interrupt is an event that causes the execution of one program to be suspended and the execution of another program to begin. So far we have dealt with only the interrupts that are caused by requests that is received during the IO data transfers, that is input output data transfers. So however, the interrupt mechanism is used in other a number of situations. The term exception is often used to refer any event that causes an interruption. Hence, IO interrupts are one of the example of an exception. Let us understand the term exception in general. Exception is a shorthand for exceptional event. Okay, exception term is used to indicate an exceptional event. So the definition could be exception is an event that occurs during the execution of a program which disrupts the normal flow of instruction. That means we have studied the interrupt. As I told, interrupt is an example for exception. Okay, so far what all interrupts we have studied, that is caused by requesting for the functioning of the processor during some IO transfers. Okay, IO data transfers. Okay, so the concepts what we have studied about interrupts are all examples of an exception. Okay, now let us understand exception in more general terms. Okay, so there are many different kinds of errors that cause the exceptions, the problems which are ranging from the hard disk crash to simple programming errors. All these could cause a exception. So the examples for exceptions in programming languages could be if you are trying to divide any number by 0, or trying to access an out of bounds array element. So divide by 0, anything divided by 0 will lead to infinity. Okay, so in such cases the program would raise an exception. Okay, also in case of if you are trying to access an array element which is out of bound, suppose you have declared an array of size 5. Okay, that means the array's index will be 0 1 2 3 4. If you're trying to access an index 5 of an array, it would cause an exception because there is no element in the fifth position. Okay, we have 0 1 2 3 4 up to fourth position we have. There is no element in the fifth position. If you're trying to access an array out of bound element, it would cause an exception. Some of the programming languages like Java support exceptional handling mechanisms, and some programming languages do not support. So we should have code in order to handle such situations. Okay, if you are not handling the exceptions properly, that would terminate the execution of a program. So this is the more general idea about exception. Next, we shall study how the computers will recover from errors. So computers use a variety of techniques to ensure that all the hardware components are operating properly. For example, many computers include an error checking code in the main memory, which allows detection of errors in the stored data. So if an error occurs, then the control hardware detects it and informs the processor by raising an interrupt. So the processor may also interrupt a program if it detects an error or an unusual condition while executing the instructions of this program. For example, if the opcode field in an instruction may not correspond to any legal instruction, or an arithmetic instruction may attempt a division by 0. So these both are examples of an exception. They have given if any opcode field of any instruction, if it is not corresponding to any legal instruction, in the sense, what if the user is trying to execute any instruction in the user mode, it will be legal for him. If he is trying to execute any instruction in the privileged mode, or the supervisor mode, it would become an illegal instruction. Okay, if he is trying to access supervisor mode, then there would raise an exception, or there would be a interruption of the execution of the program. Or in case of a instruction that is trying to divide by a 0, okay, which will lead to infinity. So in both the cases an interruption would be raised. So when exception processing is initiated as a result of such errors, the processor proceeds in exactly the same manner in the case of an IO interrupt request. So that means it suspends the program that is being executed and starts an exception service routine. Okay, so this routine takes the appropriate action to recover from the error if possible, or to inform the user about it. Okay, if it has any mechanism to recover from the exception, it would do it, or else it will raise an error to the user. So let us recall that in the case of an IO interrupt, the processor completes the execution of the instruction in progress before accepting the interrupt. It will not stop the execution of the current instruction, but it will stop the execution of the current program. That particular instruction execution it will complete, and then it will move to the request of the interrupt. So however, when an interrupt is caused by an error, the execution of the interrupted instruction cannot usually be completed, and the processor begins the exception processing immediately. This is one small difference between an interrupt and an exception. In case of an interrupt, what will happen? The currently being executed instruction will be completed. After that, the processor will receive the interrupt. But in case of an exception, in which instruction the error would be raised, there only it will stop the execution and it will move to the exception handling mechanism, or any exception recovery code. Okay, so this is one small difference between interruption and exception. Let us see debugging. So another important type of exception is used as an aid in debugging program. So system software usually includes a program called a debugger, which will identify the errors and provide the solution to it. That is debugger, which helps the programmer to find the errors in a program. So every computer system will have a software that includes a debugger program. It is also a program which will help the user to identify the errors in the program. So debugger uses exceptions to provide two important facilities called trace and breakpoints. Okay, if you have used Turbo C, you would have come across these two things. One is trace and the breakpoints. Trace is what? Tracing the program. Okay, how the values will flow throughout your program, that you can see in case of Turbo C. Okay, if you have used Turbo C, then you will be much clear with this. Breakpoint is what? You will be inserting some breakpoints in your program. Breakpoint means what? It will the program will execute until that breakpoint. In that, if there are any errors, it would give. You can correct those errors and then you can move further. Okay, so it is also like an instruction. It is actually, but it is like an event which will stop the execution of the program, and you can check the correctness of the program until that particular breakpoint. So when the processor is operating in the trace mode, the exception occurs after execution of every instruction, using the debugging program as the exception service routine. Okay, so the debugging program, it enables the user to examine the contents of the register, memory locations, and so on. So then the user can come to know about the errors. So on return from the debugging program, the next instruction in the program being debugged will be executed. Then the debugging program is activated again, and the trace exception is disabled during the execution of the debugging program. Okay, when the debugging program will be enabled, if when the operating system will be in trace mode, if any exception occurs after execution of an every instruction, then it will go to the uh, uh, exception service routine with the help of the debugging program. So this debugging program will enable the user to examine the contents of register, memory location, etc. At that particular moment. That means until execution of that particular instruction, whatever the values are stored in the register and memory, that can be checked by the user. Okay, so then he will come to know the expected value is present in the register or memory location is there or not. If it is not there, that means he can think of an error. Okay, so once it is returning from the debugging program, again the next instruction that is being executed in the program will go on, and again the debugging program will be executed after every instruction. Okay, so again if there is any error, then it will go to debugging program, and then again the same process will happen. Okay, so the trace exception will be disabled during the execution of the debugging program. Once that is deactivated or it is disabled debugging program, again you can go to the trace exception. Otherwise trace exception will be disabled until the execution of the debugging program. So breakpoints also provide a similar facility, except that the program being debugged is interrupted only at specific points selected by the user. Okay, so you are going to insert the breakpoints. Okay, that means user is going to insert the breakpoints. So the program being debugged will be interrupted only at those specific points which are selected by the user. So an instruction called trap or software interrupt is usually provided for this purpose. Okay, so execution of this instruction results in exactly the same actions when a hardware interrupt request is received. So that means you're going to use either trap or any software interrupts to do this. That means to insert the breakpoints. This also results in the same way, uh, or it results in the same actions like when an hardware interrupt was requested. Okay, that means any request from IO device, how that will be handled, in the same way this also will be handled. Okay, so while debugging a program, the user may wish to interrupt the program execution after the instruction I, for example. Okay, so the debugging routine saves the instruction I plus 1 and replaces it with a software interrupt instruction. Okay, so if any error has occurred at instruction I, then the debugging program will save the instruction I plus 1 and replaces it with the software interrupt instruction, that is either trap or any software interrupt instruction. Okay, so when the program is executed and reaches that particular point, it is interrupted and the debugging routine will be activated. This gives the user a chance to examine memory and register contents. So when the user is ready to continue executing the program being debugged, the debugging routine restores and the saved instruction that was at location I plus 1 and executes a return from interrupt instruction. Okay, so when the user is ready to continue executing the program that was being debugged, the debugging routine will restore all the saved instruction that was at location I plus 1, because it had saved the instruction I plus 1. Okay, that will be restored and it executes a return from interrupt instruction that will be restored, and there will be an instruction that is return from interrupt. Okay, so that instruction will be executed. Let us see privilege exception. To protect the operating system of a computer from being corrupted by user programs, certain instructions can be executed only while the processor is in the supervisor mode. Okay, so these are called as privileged instruction. We have studied this before also. Like there will be two modes of execution. One is the supervisor mode and the other one is user mode. Okay, only special type of instructions will be executed in the supervisor mode, or it can also be called as privileged mode. So those instructions are called as privileged instruction. For example, when the processor is running in the user mode, it will not execute an instruction that changes the priority level of the processor or that enables a user program to access the areas in the computer memory that have been allocated to other users. Okay, so these things will happen only in the supervisor mode or the privileged mode. In the user mode, these things will not happen. So an attempt to execute such an instruction will produce a privilege exception. Okay, If any user is trying to do these things, then it will lead to a privilege exception, causing the processor to switch to the supervisor mode and begin executing an appropriate routine in the operating system. So this is about privileged exception and how it is handled. So this is about exceptions. Thank you for watching.